Hey gearheads, thanks for tuning in. On this episode of Dan's Garage, Dan has ripped out the old exhaust and put in a true dual exhaust. And spoiler alert, he's working on the Chevelle too. Hey Dan, run that intro.
So I've decided that restoring the headers was a waste because they didn't fit the truck. Thought about getting new headers, but that cost money. Then I had the old manifolds, which I was going to use, but I ran into this. So this here is completely broken off. This one is drilled out a little large, which I may be able to tap with a larger bolt or something like that. I was going to JB weld these, but this one is stuck. I tried drilling it out. I even bought new titanium drill bits. This thing must be made of kryptonite or something because I cannot get it out. So I texted some buddies to see if anybody had a set of manifolds laying around. No one did. But at the same time, I got a text from one of my neighbors, Joel, thank you, and he was asking me if I knew anyone that wanted a set of headers that his buddy had. So I said, well, give me his number. Let's see what we can work out. So I talked to him. He had a set of headers that wasn't going to work, but he also had a set of manifolds. And I said, well, let's make a deal on that. So he actually ended up giving them to me. And Stan, thank you very much for the donation to the old truck here. And these things are so beautiful, I'm not even going to paint them. So they look nice just the way they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean these up. We're going to get this gasket material off of them. I'm going to take these off. We're going to go ahead and make sure these are all tapped, get our new studs in them. We're going to start putting this exhaust in right now. Alright, so I got the pipes under the truck, I got the manifolds on, I got the one head pipe on, and I'm working on the tailpipe. So I'm going to put a hanger on the back of it so I can figure out where the middle two pipes are going to meet, because I am going to have to extend that with a little bit of pipe, and we'll see that in a minute. So this is going to make a lot of sparks, thought it'd be a cool video, so let's have at it. Alright, so here we are under the truck. I'm putting this bracket up here, do it on the third hole, and then I can bring it up one more hole if I need to. I need something to hold this up. So. So that's that. I'm going to put a jack under the tailpipe just to hold it up where I want, because the hanger obviously is flexible, so I'll put that where I need it to be, and then we'll go look at the mid pipe. Okay, so I have the pipe in place with two jack stands. What I'm going to do now is jack up the rear end, because I got to check the clearance for when the truck's going to be on the ground. It's really not going to move too much suspension travel wise, but I want to make sure I don't weld it in with the rear end hanging down and then put it on the ground and find out it's rubbing. I'm going to go ahead and move this hanger up one more notch. Let's see if that gives us the clearance we need. It's hitting the rear suspension in the front, and it's hitting the track bar in the rear. So this exhaust really needs a little bit more of a bend, but I don't have an exhaust bender. So what to do? We may have to bypass these tailpipes and just cut it after the muffler and put turn downs on it. That might be the only option. So I could drop the rear end back down, so I'll have to pull this pipe out of here. Cut the muffler off, make it easy. Okay, I outlined the arrow to make it a little easier to see since this is an old muffler. But it does have an A and B, and it's a double-headed arrow. That basically indicates that it goes both ways. You can use whichever side you want as the inlet and whichever side for the outlet. Of course, on the back here, it's a center, and on the front, or the other side, it's offset. So you can basically use it as offset left in, offset right in, and center outlet, or flip it around, use the center as the inlet, and then you can offset it on one side or the other. So it makes it a pretty flexible, usable piece. So let's see which way works best. So that is good to know, since this is what I was trying to do, and this does offset it. If I line this up perfectly with the head pipe, that basically puts it over here, which I think will work best for us, because then that's kind of the way it's wanting to go. And then if I want to, and I can actually cut that right angle off and just put it out right in front of this rear wheel. So maybe we'll do that. But for now, I'm gonna line up these pipes so they fit snugly, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mark it, and then that way I could take it off the vehicle and I can weld it outside the truck, and then it'll just mount right back in. I'm gonna hold all this together. And we'll go with one line here. And 2 lines there. Now I'll go ahead and weld this on, and then I'll try out if I want to do the tailpipe or not, and we'll see where that gets us. Alright, we can kind of gauge where the tailpipe needs to go, probably about here. So I think what we'll do is I'll cut this off right here, and we'll see if we can position that on the muffler and maybe get this all welded in one shot. So let me cut this off. Alright, so we'll go ahead and mark this out where we want it to go. Make sure it's as level as can be. Alright, so pull everything apart and we'll go ahead and weld it. Now I can go ahead and tack weld these under the truck so I know everything's sitting right and then weld it, or just mark it like I did and do it and hope it turns out right. So we can do it the right way, or we can do it this way. There you go. We got the exhaust. Bolt it up and see how I did. Alright, I think the best place to mount the back hanger is here, but that puts it at a right angle. So I think what I'm going to do is take this other piece that I cut off the other one, and I'll bend a 90 in it, then I can attach it to the frame here, and I can attach this one to it there. That'll also give us more flexibility on moving it up and down if we need to adjust it. So we're going to go ahead and bend this at a 90, and then we'll be able to go ahead and use these 2 holes to mount this like that, and this will mount there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I think we got this ready. So I'm going to put this on this side, put this on the other side, if I can reach. Do-do-do. Okay, so the back is still loose, but what I like to do is shake your exhaust around. Make sure it's not going to be hitting anything. That way it's not like up against some metal and it'll start clinking and clanking when you're driving. You're like, what is that sound? So this way it kind of prevents that, hopefully, from happening. So got the front tight. So we'll go ahead and tighten up these 2 screws and should be able to move on to the other side. Alright, nice and tight. Might be a little low. May have to bend that up a little bit more. Okay guys, so I decided this was definitely too low. Got too much clearance here. I jacked the rear end up to see where the street would be, and that's just way too low. It's going to look dumb. So what I did is I did a pie cut in here. I just cut the top all the way down to the bottom, kind of 2 blades width at the top, and left it attached at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is going to jack it up. I'm not going to use the jack. I'm just going to push this up, and that'll allow me to raise it up. Hey guys, I got about halfway through the exhaust and check it out. We got Danny B from Grimson's Tuning showed up to give me a hand. Really cool local guy. He's building a twin turbo Dodge Durango. I'll put a link to his channel down in the description so you can check it out. Make sure you subscribe to him and show him the love you guys are showing me. But for now, we're going to let him do a little welding on this exhaust. Well, there we go.
Let me show you guys this welding I did real quick. Just real quick.
Yeah, bring it up there.
That's the back. Needs improvement, but hey, not bad for a first timer. Holy monkeys. Hey, I got a good teacher here. Wow. Alright, I'm very, very happy I met Dan from Dan's Garage in NC because he's teaching me a lot of stuff that I definitely need to learn, especially when it comes to my build, when it comes to welding some stuff and getting things, you know, fabricated and modified. The reason why I actually came to him was to get some help and to collaborate with him and learn. And he's got great views on how to get things done the right way, safely, and everything. So
I don't know if I'd say all the time the right way. You know what I say on my channel? We can do it the right way or we could do it this way.
well, to me it's the right.
We'll be fine. Alright guys, so Danny had to get out of here. It's actually a couple days later, but I'm getting back on the truck here and we're going to go ahead and get the head pipe with the muffler mounted up, and then we'll go ahead and figure out where the tailpipe needs to be. I think I'm probably just going to weld it on the vehicle. That way I don't have to move the head pipe off again, because the passenger side actually goes up at like a 90, and those bolts are really hard to get to in those nuts, so we'll leave it on. So we'll go ahead and get under the truck, get that head pipe mounted up, put a jack stand on the back, and get that tailpipe where it needs to be. Alright, so that might be an odd angle for you guys to see, but this is pretty much what I'm working with. This is the wall side of the truck, so it's hard to get a camera in here. Alright, let's lose that one. So this does have a little bit of movement in it. Probably have to tighten those up in the front a little bit more. But if I look to weld this up, I'm going to have it kind of sticking up here as best as possible. Alright, so I got the joint pretty close together. I can definitely weld that up. I'm going to weld it where it is. That way I don't have to take the exhaust out again. And then we may have to trim this tip. I just wanted to take a second to show you guys what I'm working with on this side. I know the other side looked nice and close. This side is a big open gap because it was on the inside and I couldn't see what I was doing. But now that I'm underneath the truck welding it, I see it's a pretty big open hole. But if you see what I'm doing is I'm just taking the weld and kind of starting on one side and just doing little tiny rainbows, and then I stop, let it cool off, and go back and just do another tiny little rainbow and just kind of build on the weld. Make sure you're not sticking into the hole or it's not going to go anywhere. But if you weld onto your weld or weld onto one of the pipes, like I was telling Danny the other day, or a couple seconds ago to you guys, you know, you can bridge that gap and go all the way down, and then once it gets closer, you'll have no problem. So I'll leave you on so you can watch along a little bit. Alright, I think that's as far as we're going to get. Now keep in mind, I'm not a welder, I'm barely a mechanic. I'm just a guy that likes to work on his vehicles and put them on YouTube. So don't judge. If you're going to comment something nice, like, hey, you welded, and just leave it at that. Alright, so I got the exhaust all welded up, and I put all the plug wires back on. Everything in the engine I think is good, so I'm going to go ahead and start it up. I want to check around the exhaust collectors and make sure that the bottom of the manifolds is not leaking, make sure those donuts are solid. Before I go ahead and drop it down, we'll bring it out, and then we'll check out those tailpipes and may have to shave off that passenger side. so it sounded good. The driver's side seems okay. The passenger side, it's leaking a tiny bit. I think I felt that when I was at the back of the muffler and it was kind of rocking back and forth. So, like I said, before I get it off the jack stands, I'm going to tighten up all those nuts, make sure they're good and tight. Then we'll go ahead and get it out. So I think both these pipes are sticking out a little too far, so I'm going to cut these right at like the front edge of the tire. The exhaust is done, so it does have true dual. It sounds really good. You can hear the cam in it. I think it needs a little nastier mufflers, maybe something a little more open so you can really hear it and this thing will scream when it gets on the road. So it is running and driving. It does need a little TLC, and the reason I'm telling you that is because it's for sale. That's right, kids. The C10 from Dan's Garage is for sale. So it's for sale locally on Craigslist in Raleigh. It's also for sale on Facebook Marketplace. So if you're interested in picking it up, go ahead and take a look there. I've taken a bunch of pictures. The body has not been done anything to it since I've had it. So it is all original, has some holes, has the usual rust and some Bondo spots. But it is a running and driving truck. I will give the original springs with it that I took out. Anything else that I have for it here, we need to move on to bigger and better projects and more projects. So I'm working on the Chevelle next, so that video is coming up. And there's lots more old Chevelles coming on this channel. So if you like old project cars and you're thinking about buying one, stay tuned for that. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Well, that's it for this episode. You can leave comments below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications when new videos are uploaded.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, stay positive, keep on wrenching. I'm going to cut this off, and it's going to make a lot of sparks, so I thought it might make cool for the video. So, make cool for the video. I thought it might... Should I start over again? Yeah, I probably should. And that should be all we need, and we'll be in good shape. Always adjusting when you're customizing vehicles. Important thing is, don't give up, and just keep working. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Alright, you wait. Go to the other camera. I'll be down here if you need me. Go ahead and link his subscription, his channel. That's what it is. Alright, let's try that again. Sorry, bloopers. This is looking like it's a bad idea. You don't have to watch this. It's not going to be exciting.